What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Data with Peachey. This is episode number 5. I probably should stop naming the episodes at this point, the numbers, because I'm going to lose track of it. And it's been about 3 weeks since I launched or released another podcast. You know, life gets in the way. Sometimes it works out like that. I'm still shooting for the every 2 weeks kind of thing. So we'll try to get back on the wagon, so to speak, as it relates to creating podcasts. But today's episode is going to be a bit of an interesting one. I'm going to call it the ranting episode. There are 3 things that are just kind of stuck in my brain as it relates to setting up a data ecosystem or just really anything data related in businesses. Now, this is going to have to do with 3 big things. 1, change management. We're going to talk about change management here a little bit. Number 2, we're going to talk about understanding where your data is. And then last but certainly not least, this is going to be my plea out to all of the board of directors or super high level executive leadership teams out there as it relates to AI, LLM, or ML. So if you don't know what those are artificial intelligence, large language models, or machine learning. And your desire to do those things without doing some very basic data stuff to begin with. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this. If you're like me and you've worked in data a really long time, these 3 will probably resonate with you the most because you've probably lived and breathed and probably have some of the scars that is related to the 3 things that I'm going to talk about. So companies, if you have no idea how to do change management, what makes you think that you're going to be able to pull off this AI thing? And this goes back to the whole rant of change management during projects, programs, or standing up a data ecosystem sometimes is the thing that is cut the quickest because they feel like people are just going to do it because it's the right thing to do. That's not necessarily how the data ecosystem and data things work anymore, or really have worked at all. If you want to pull something off like machine learning or AI, or let's just talk about standing up a data governance program, a data management program, there is a tremendous amount of change management that has to happen in order for the whole program to be successful. I've talked about it before on this podcast. There are 3 things that are critically important when you are standing up any new capability, whether that be data or really anything at all. But I'm going to keep this geared towards data. When we talk about those 3 things are people, process, and technology. Say it with me, say it loud, and say it proud. People, process, and technology. You can have the best technology in the entire world, but if you don't have the people and the process to support it, by the way, that includes the change management that goes behind that, your technology is probably going to flop. How many of us that have been in the data industry for a really long time have seen new technologies come in, promise you the world? I'm going to give you the best metadata. I'm going to automatically classify your data. I'm going to find data quality rules for you. You implement the technology and then it completely flops. Or you're talking about how you're trying to stand this thing up over and over again. And then 3 years goes by when your license is up with that first contract and you're looking at a new technology because the technology didn't quite solve your problems. That's because your change management sucks. You have to concentrate on what that means. You've got to understand, where are the biggest hurdles that you're going to have as it relates to change management? Where are your biggest obstacles? Who are your biggest proponents and opponents as it relates to standing up that new capability? You got to have the people aspect of things, and you've got to institute processes in place that give the people the roles and responsibilities of what they're supposed to do, gives them the rules of the road when they're using or implementing this new technology, this new process, this new capability. Companies, if you are not investing in change management the way that you should when you're standing up a data program, your data program will struggle. That includes making sure that you have a top-down message. Not all the time that's going to happen. But really where the change management needs to happen is not necessarily at the top down, or even from the bottom up, because those are the people who really want to do it the most. That change management needs to happen in that middle layer. We're talking about some of your managers, senior managers, directors, AVPs, VPs. That group right there has to have the robust change management. They need to understand the why Why am I being asked to do this from my superiors? My superiors don't know how hard this job is. They don't know what's going on. And then the bottoms up approach is to say, hey, how are we going to support that middle layer, that middle management layer, and give them the people, process, and technology in order for them to be successful? Companies, if you think that you're going to be able to just say the top down says thou shall do AI, and then it's just going to happen, that's not how the world works. That's not how your business operates. You need a robust change management strategy as it relates to standing up anything new related to a data capability, especially at that middle layer. Now that gets me to the next thing that I want to talk about, and this goes to your boards. So the boards of directors, your senior leaders, C-suite, all of those folks. Stop keeping up with the Joneses. You do not need to keep up with the Joneses. And I say that to say, don't just say, I want AI. We need AI. AI and I business is going to change the way we do business. But you don't know why or how it's going to change your business. Stop having the FOMO, fear of missing out. Have a good reason why you should do AI, why you should do large language models, and why you should do machine learning. If you don't have a robust why, then why are you doing it because your competitor is? That's why you're doing it. You're doing it because Johnny Appleseed down the street and his company, which is just like your company, is already doing things related to AI. And you don't want to miss out because you feel like today that you're going to be able to institute these new things and change your business, but you don't know why. Stop having the fear of missing out. Stop trying to stay up with the Joneses. Have a good, robust strategy. There's that word again, robust. A lot of robust strategies related to data management, governance, and now AI. Why are you doing AI? Have a good reason why before you just start instituting all these things related to AI. I've seen a lot of companies start to do things related to, well, we're standing up AI, but why? Why are you standing up AI? How is it going to be beneficial to your business? Yeah, I get it. Me asking these questions is going to maybe slow you down a little bit, but it's ultimately going to speed you up at the end. Asking these questions in the beginning, having a good reason why, is a darn good start for you to have your business in a good place to start instituting these AI initiatives, having instituted these large language models. Have a good reason why you're doing with these things and why it works for your business. Here, I'm going to tell you, I've said it before on a lot of my social medias that I think AI is going to, in fact, change the world. But it is beginning to lose some of its shine because people don't really know what to do with it yet. So rather than just dive in and trying to figure out what you're going to do as you're going through it, so stop building the plane as you're trying to fly it. Build the plane first. Have your why, have your strategy, have what you're trying to do, and ease into it. AI is maturing so fast and it's changing so many different ways. So rather than say like, I'm just going to start to do it on things that I feel like I should, why don't you get a small group of people together and say, this is what it is. So I'm asking those boards of directors out there, rather than you say, well, I don't see this company using AI, maybe challenge them and say, hey, can you give me 3 or 4 use cases that you feel that AI might benefit this particular business? That is a really good start, boards of directors, C-suite, for you to get started and how you could implement AI inside of your business. Now, those two things, change management and kind of staying up with the Joneses and the fear of missing out, those are the two things. But there's one other thing that I don't think people realize how connected all of these things are when you're trying to do change management or machine learning and AI when you use your data for your company. The first thing you need to do, number one, and no company does this well, not a single one that I've ever run across. I'm sure there's going to be examples out there. So if you're in the comments or you're out there talking to yourself like, well, my company does this, I'm sure that you are in the minority, has been able to completely, clearly articulate where all their data is. Do you know where your data is? Do you know where your data is at night? Do you know what your data is doing? Can you legitimately, can you tell yourself today inside your business and say, I know exactly where my data is. I know where my authoritative sources are. I know where my sources of record are, sources of authority. I know, reference tables. I know all of that. I know where all of my data is. And then I want you to look in the mirror and then call yourself a liar, because that's probably not true. Again, I say that tongue in cheek, but the idea is you've got to take the time. You've got to get a group of people together to say, I understand where all my data is. You have to, because if you want to put this data in a large language model, you want to put this data in AI, you got to understand, where is your data? If you want to say that you have quality data, that you've got critical data elements, that you're doing everything the way that you should be, do you know where all your data is? Do the legwork as it relates to finding where your data is, both structured and unstructured. Yeah, it's going to take some time. Yeah, you should probably have a roadmap. Yeah, you should probably put processes and procedures in place when you're trying to stand up new data, like if you're using Snowflake or something like that. And I'm not saying that that's going to be, you're never going to 100% find all of your data, because new analytical repositories are probably created daily, within your business. And that's totally okay. But you've got to understand, where is your most important data, regulatory driven, finance driven, HR, whatever it is. You need to take the time to say, all my data is located here. My most critical data is located here. And then you can build off of that from there. That's when you start to do data quality, data management, master data management, reference data management. You start to institute business and technical data quality checks. Then you can kind of understand, what data am I putting in a large language model? What data am I allowing people to connect to do artificial intelligence? If you want to do things like this, you have to understand where your data is. First and foremost, before you kick off any data initiative, anything data related to the ecosystem, find out what your denominator is. You'll hear me refer to it probably in future episodes as the denominator. What is the denominator of your data? Do you have 1 million tables? Do you have 5,000 tables? Do you have 4 tables? What is that? And what's inside that data? Take the time to understand where your data is, because it's going to give you the ability to go bigger, faster, stronger on everything that you do going forward. This was the ranty episode. Again, the big 3 things: change management, know where your data is, and boards, C-suite, please understand, don't just push AI for the sake of pushing it. Have a good reason why you should be doing it. If you like this episode and you're watching it on YouTube, do all the YouTube things like share, subscribe, thumbs up, leave a comment, all those things. If you're listening on your favorite podcasting application, perhaps you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please consider giving a 5-star review, leaving a comment, thumbs up, or leaving a comment that says, yes, my company does these exact same things. I am right on board with you. Thank you so much for this ranty rant episode. I needed to hear it on this Thursday afternoon. So thank you so much. This is episode number 5 with Data with Peachey, and we will catch you in the next episode.